It seems like there's always something going on in the world of UFC. Some big fights are coming up, someone's trash-talking their opponents, you know the gist. It's definitely a nice way to keep fans interested and make the fights more intense. Recently, we've been anticipating a fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz. Chimaev, however, seems a bit too sure of himself. Let's take a look at what he said. First off, why does Chimaev think he'll win? The 28-year-old is expecting the same result as many fans and observers from his fight at UFC 279 versus Nate Diaz. When he saw a new ad for a welterweight fight scheduled for September 10th in Las Vegas, Chimaev posted a coffin emoji with area code 209. The number is a reference to Stockton, California, which is where the American fighter comes from. Looks like he's anticipating a clear win for himself. The fight at UFC 279 is going to mark Diaz's most recent commitment to the UFC after a long hiatus, in which the ex-lightweight title contender asked for a fight from the promotion multiple times. Last month, he made an appearance on Hour of MMA and accused the UFC of holding him under a trilogy contract with his two-time opponent Conor McGregor and requested his last fight. Chimaev has risen to the top of the division by having 5 consecutive wins, one of which was a Fight of the Year contender against Gilbert Burns in his last fight. He's an impressive and intimidating opponent. Diaz, however, stands at 1-3 in his last 4 outings, most recently having lost to the present-day welterweight title contender Leon Edwards. Even though this was a pretty big setback, Diaz didn't let him go without one hell of a fight. An Instagram account representing Team Diaz reacted to the promo by posting a fist emoji. Next up, Michael Chandler gives his 2 cents. Ex-UFC lightweight title challenger Michael Chandler couldn't help but share his opinion on this heated rivalry. He believes that Diaz is out of his league here, and his opponent is far superior. But he also admitted that if there's anyone who could turn things around, it's Diaz. Chandler thinks that Diaz is a gangster in every sense of the word, for consenting to fight Khamzat in a match that could be the Stockton, California native's last trip to the octagon after 15 years spent in the UFC. Iron Mike is predicting a harsh result on fight night for Diaz, who was defeated in 3 of his last 4. Despite that, he isn't totally discrediting the UFC veteran either. He has a feeling the American fighter is going to make this brutal for his opponent. It's going to be a really tough match. Let's not forget, Khamzat is still the champion, beaten only by Burns. But it took a lot out of Burns, and we're going to have to see if Diaz can step up to the challenge and give us a good match. Chandler does firmly believe that technically Khamzat beats Nate in pretty much every aspect, but it's still going to be a close fight. He appreciates the spirit. The match between these two heated fighters is scheduled for September 10th. Finally, Chimaev made his own predictions. We all know by now what Chimaev is thinking about this fight. He knows in his heart that he's going to win. Hopefully, he won't get too comfortable and underestimate his opponent. That is a possibility. The Swedish fighter's game plan for his welterweight matchup is to simply smash his opponent dart to dart. The welterweight champion's sole concern is his American rival not showing up for fight night. Chimaev recently came on Ariel Helwani, the MMA lesson, and said that he still doesn't think Diaz is going to show up. He mocked his opponent and referred to him as a skinny boy. He also said that he didn't really care who he was fighting as long as they could fight. So even if it wasn't Nate, the fighter made it obvious that he just wanted to get a deal done. Besides Nate, he was mostly trying to get a match with either Belal Muhammad, fellow welterweight contender, or the other Diaz brother. The truth is, this Swede was ready to fight no matter who he was up against. He even revealed that he was ready to wait for Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards to do their match, and that he'll take on whoever wins in that. Looks like he's just really itching to fight. Other than that, he also said that he was ready to take on Nick Diaz if Nate wasn't up to the challenge. The Swedish champion is thrilled to fight a man he thinks is destined to be a legend in the sport. The undefeated Chechen is predicting a first or second round win after either forcing his opponent to bet on a submission or knocking him out. He's not even considering the possibility that he'll lose. Chimaev pointed out that his opponent is far older than him, telling fans that he used to watch him fight when he himself was a schoolboy. One thing's for sure, no one is expecting a victory for Diaz in this match, saying what an absolute beast his opponent is. But if he wins, he'd go down as an absolute legend. Other related news. First off, can Alex Pereira cut 47 pounds in 3 months? UFC middleweight Alex Pereira's weight has increased by a massive 47 pounds since his first-round knockout victory in his match against Sean Strickland at UFC 276. Now the scales measure up to 232.8 pounds, and it's only 3 months out from his highly anticipated match against Israel Adesanya. The ex-2-division Glory champion hasn't begun his UFC 281 training camp yet, but he disclosed that he needs to lose a lot of weight first, 47 pounds to be exact, until November 12th. Currently, Pereira is 3-0 in the UFC since making his promotional debut in 2021. He's also famous for being one of the greatest strikers in MMA, and probably the only man at middleweight with the potential of beating Adesanya, who's been the division's long-reigning champion for quite a while now. He knocked out Adesanya in 2017 using the same brutal left hook he used to end Strickland just a month ago. Next up, Anthony Smith opens up about weight trouble. Anthony Smith has had his fair share of bad weight weight cuts in his career, but the worst ones took place when he was fighting at middleweight. Smith was reminded of those weight cuts after his weight was 206 pounds for his fight against Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 277 this past July. He has been fighting at light heavyweight for more than 3 years now, but this cut was a tough one because he miscalculated how much he needed to lose before weighing himself. Lionheart revealed to Ariel Helwani during an appearance on the MMA Hour that his cut for Ankalaev was at 6 on a scale from 1 to 10, but it was nothing compared to the cuts he had to do at middleweight. He opened up and said that there were even times when he was cutting to 85, during which he wasn't sure if he was going to live. It was really bad. He could barely stand for the time it took him to weigh in. He felt like he was about to faint at any second. He further described that he couldn't even walk from his hotel to the weighing scale. Even a 5-minute walk would take 15 minutes because every couple of steps he'd have to kneel. That sounds terrible. Hopefully he's in a better place now. Finally, Volkanovski is considering lightweight moves. Alexander Volkanovski knows how to make his doubters shut up, and he wants to keep doing that as he goes after champ status. After a successful defense against Max Holloway at UFC 276, Volkanovski showed interest in putting on 10 pounds for his next match. Since he ended his trilogy and closed the chapter with Holloway, Dana White publicly backed Volkanovski's possible move. We know he can definitely fight the upper echelon of the lightweight class, but some are doubting how well Volkanovski would do for the rest. He already had an answer prepared for those people. He said that people think he's reached his peak, but he's determined to prove them wrong and do even better. Next time he enters the ring, he's going to do just that. He loves having naysayers and being the underdog. It only makes his victory even more satisfying when he does win. He also addressed the current state of the featherweight division. The City kickboxing star had also said that it needs to work things out and decide once and for all who is the new #1 contender. Two options are Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett after their respective wins over Brian Ortega and Calvin Kattar, but it's uncertain who deserves a championship opportunity first. Without a labeled #1 fighter, Volkanovski has set his target on a new challenge for now. He's in a position where he needs to assess what his best options are. He's seriously considering going over to lightweight. He even said publicly that it's not that hard for him to go up to 155 pounds. For now, it's tricky to predict how that would turn out though. We'll have to wait and see. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on the highly anticipated fight? Who do you think will win? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.